Meme Team, that gay little name you've been seeing pop up here and there, with random names and faces that make little sense and really overall don't matter. But today we lay out the entire saga from start to end. Within a year and 2 months, 4 wars, and more than a dozen names forgotten in the history of a story, more complex than Metal Gear, the WWE, and the X-Men timeline all combined into one. We dive into the rise and fall of one of the most minute wars that made heroes and villains out of random gay memers on a gay little comedy app. This is the story of the Meme Team. The Meme Team was started sometime in May 2016. LordAndSlayer gathered together a small army consisting of Killfandoms and Triggerer, also once known as Dankstroke and the Dank Knight. Slayer had noticed them back when he was V2 and knew what they were capable of. Also added were Garfield, Doctornet, Plague Doctor, Parthenope, the Bush Kush, and Life is a Meme, at the time the highest sub-member and a man Slayer looked up to. The group was formed to protect one another from furries, bronies, and other cancerous fandoms leeching in the collectives. But that would all change one day when a messenger approached with grave news. Plushy Gangster warned Slayer of a new clan that was planning on waging war against the Meme Team, calling themselves the League of Extraordinary Memers, led by Captain Memo. Slayer feared it would be a ban raid on their accounts, so he gathered his men for war. He also hired 3 new members from the team for backup: Plushy Gangsta, Refugees, and Uranius. With these 3 new members, the first meme war had begun. The war only lasted a month, however, after Captain Memo went MIA and his army disbanded due to a lack of leadership. But the war did not come out without a heavy cost. Killfandoms, the most respected member of the team, left and went offline for the next 4 months. Slayer lost access to his 2K account, and without Slayer, the Meme Team was surely to die. But Life is a Meme gave Slayer his 5K account as a gift, since he was leaving anyways. As a sign of respect to Life is a Meme, Slayer changed his eyes to purple, symbolizing the birth of LordAndSlayer VI. In the aftermath of the war, hostility between Meme Team was beginning to grow, due to Uranius causing disruptions amongst the other members. Slayer kicked Refugees and Plushy Gangster in hopes it would settle the hostility, ironically not kicking Uranius, who was the cause of said hostilities. After Refugees had been kicked from the team, he began posting propaganda against them. He was one of the first men to start the Meme Team gay movement, so Slayer sent Uranius to get Refugees his face, since the two of them were friends. Uranius secretly betrayed Slayer though and warned Refugees that Slayer wanted his face. But Refugees double-crossed Uranius and told Slayer that Uranius informed him of his plan. Slayer banished Uranius and gave a spot to Refugees. Uranius swore vengeance on Slayer and the Meme Team. He would start his own team, calling it the United Meme Republic. Its core members were the Bush Kush, who had left the Meme Team for the UMR, Soviet Batman, Uranius' right-hand man, and a young up-and-comer named Kentucky Fried Fandoms. But Soviet Batman had began making a name for himself fighting against the Meme Team, so Slayer offered him Killfandom's place. Soviet agreed and betrayed the UMR, becoming Slayer's right-hand man. With the second meme war in full motion, Triggerer began calling out Parthenope for being pathetic and hitting on random girls online. Triggerer begged Slayer to kick Parth, but Slayer denied it. This started a dispute amongst everyone on the team, with Plague Doctor and Doctornet siding with Parthenope, while everyone else siding with Trig. Plague Doctor had been out doing small-time raids on furry accounts, but one of his raids backfired, and he himself got raided instead. Plague Doctor, humiliated by this loss, left and went into hiatus. 3 months had passed till finally Uranius went mad with power over the loss of Soviet, giving out extreme orders and foolish ideas. KFS had started a mutiny and got everyone on the UMR to overthrow him. Uranius changed his name to Pete Hines and went into hiding. The Bush Kush, who had taken command, called for peace, and the second meme war came to an end on August 14, 2016. But in the ashes of the UMR, KFF took the remaining soldiers and started his own team, calling it the First Meme Order, with Devastator as his second in command. Fighting alongside them was the Meme Fascists, led by Pupper Blitzkrieg. Pupper had successfully spammed and ruined the Meme Team's tag, which was something no one else had done before. With now 2 armies to fight at once, the Meme Team had their hands full, but Parthenope introduced a new member to the team, Pure Autism, who was responsible for leaking Lista's face. Plague Doctor and Killfandoms had both returned from their hiatus as well. With Killfandom's return, Soviet felt his time was at an end and decided to leave Ifunny. With now the war in full swing, an unexpected force came in and devastated the meme team. Chief. He had unleashed the Bannercost, a mass banning with his Gestapo mods that banned Slayer, along countless other accounts. With Slayer gone, hope began to die amongst the meme team, until OTVKV came and brought Slayer back from the dead. Thankful for this, Slayer allowed OTV to join the team. But as soon as he had returned, Killfandoms had gone AWOL and gotten himself banned in a suicide run. This was something OTV could not bring him back from. With the death of one of their best, Slayer added Cringe Queen to the team, being the first girl member. With the meme team tag ruined by Pupper's army, Slayer offered him a deal to join them and disband the meme fascists. Pupper agreed and the meme fascists soon died off, but as soon as one problem was over, a new one began to arise. Triggerer confronted Slayer once again, saying that they had too many members and told Slayer that Parth, Plague Doctor, and Pure should all be removed due to their inactivity. Slayer exiled both Pure and Plague, but he kept Parth because he felt he hadn't done anything wrong and they were still good friends. Though he did give Trig Parthenope's face reveal as payment to settle down his infighting with the other members. To replace the two members, Slayer added Queen Natalia, a promising new female member with much potential. Suddenly though, Slayer and Trig were both banned for unknown reasons. Trig said it was due to him mocking Weesta's girlfriend, but Slayer had nothing to do with that. With two core members gone, Slayer named Queen Natalia and Garf in command of the meme team in his absence. Luckily, however, OTV saved Slayer and Trig once again with the help of a mod, but meme team would swear vengeance on Leaf for the death of Trig. Meanwhile, the FMO was having problems of their own. Like his predecessor before him, Devastator had begun his own rebellion, taking some of the FMO soldiers and starting his own army, calling it the Democratic Meme Initiative. This rebellion did take some ease off the meme team. KFF later came to Slayer asking him for help to defeat the DMI. Slayer double-crossed KFF though and teamed up with the DMI instead. After, KFF's right-hand man, Memetum, told Slayer that he should side with the DMI since everyone was planning on betraying KFF. KFF and the FMO were soon defeated in combat, with most going to side with the DMI. A truce between both Meme Team and DMI was announced for a short time as reward for defeating KFF. The third meme war had ended on February 7, 2017. Since Memetum had betrayed KFF, Queen Nat had recommended him as the newest member, since Memetum was serving in Queen Nat's special army, the Queen's Guard. Slayer distrusted the Queen's Guard due to their unjust loyalty to Queen Nat rather than him, so Slayer began talks with its leaders, Pussyhole and Todd Wrangler. He gave the spot to Pussyhole and Todd Wrangler instead of Memetum. Doing this caused the Queen's Guard to fall apart. Seeing this though, Trig told Slayer to kick Queen Nat and Parthenope to save themselves from their drama, since they were both becoming closer and closer. Slayer decided to exile both of them. He kicked Parth this time, due in part to Queen Nat and Cringe Queen had been talking about how Parth was hitting on them in private messages. This divided OTKV because he was friends with Parthenope. Trigger then tricked Pupper into thinking Slayer was going to kick him as well. So, fearing this, he got the meme fascists back together. Slayer, seeing Pupper raise the army once again, kicked him for this. Luckily, the meme fascists didn't have the numbers that they once did, and their tactics had become obsolete, so they faded away into obscurity. With Pupper gone, Slayer also decided to kick OTVKV, Pussyhole, and Todd Wrangler, with the only reason being to purify the meme team to its former glory. With Slayer kicking 6 members from the team, he had only left Queen, Doc, Triggerer, Garfield, Refugees, and Killfandoms, who had recently returned to the team after being undercover fighting with WWYL. With Pussyhole exiled, he would join the DMI. Tard and OTVKV would join WWYL, a member who had left the DMI, to start their own army called the Meme Trinity. A great win for the meme team happened when Weast had announced that he was leaving Ifunny due to the constant harassment to his girlfriend and him being bored with the app. Trig and WWYL both took credit for this win. With the meme team, Meme Trinity, Meme Fascists, and DMI having a 4-way war with each other, things were about to escalate fast. The Meme Trinity and Fascists ended up both siding with the DMI since they were very small in numbers. Trig, basking in the glory of defeating Whis, set his eyes now on Parthenope. But Parthenope had Trig assassinated and permabanned for posting his face. Trig did come back, however, with the help of Slayer. The final battle would be fought in June 2017. With every person the meme team had made enemies with on the DMI, this is what it all worked up to. In the end, Meme Team came out victorious. Devastator had announced his surrender and disbanded the DMI, with the final war coming to a close on June 21st, 2017. With every enemy that Mean Team had made on the DMI, there was no one left to continue fighting. Over a year of fighting one another, they all gave in and finally surrendered. This brought the end to the longest meme war ever fought. With the wars at an end, and the furries, bronies, and other fandoms becoming nothing more than horror stories, peacetime had finally come. Garf had left shortly after the war came to an end. With Garf gone, this had brought the beginning of the end of the glory days for Meme Team. Trigger left for a short time with no more enemies to insult, but has since returned. Quinge Queen had left Meme Team, and KFF has taken up the title of Uranus but has gone into exile. WWYL has become an ally to Slayer, and the two have become friends since. With the glory days now behind them and no more enemies to fight, Slayer watches over the empire he and his men fought over for so long. The heroes at the start of this war have now all become legends, and that is all that they all will become, legends, on a gay little comedy app.